Welcome back to the video number 2, and this is my favorite topic, attitude. Being a Croatian, I want to address at first your attitude toward the job market, your attitude towards your career, and then of course your attitude towards your expectations about hunting or finding a very good job.
I think I'd add to that a little bit that I think there are some specific challenges in Croatia that Fran will address, but in general for young people, when you are in your early 20s and you have been in school your whole life, school tracks you in a certain direction. It feeds you what you need to do, and then all of a sudden it ends and you're thrown out into the world to just look for all these different possibilities. It's fairly overwhelming. No matter what country you're from, no matter what kind of culture you grew up in, it's a huge change in life. It's a huge turning point for you now as you move into your real adult life.
Okay, let me tell you a couple of things how we would like you to address this transformation.
Yeah.
First of all, I would like you to understand the concept of 100% responsibility. You are 100% responsible for your life and for your career. I know that you're watching news and you're reading newspapers and looking at those figures of unemployed and then the negative growth rates. We can understand that you feel scared, that you feel depressed. But the first thing is, if you're watching this video, then you definitely are not among those 300,000 unemployed. Because you now, in your early 20s, or maybe late 20s, you have some idea, some vision what you want to do with your career. And now you have to start thinking of yourself as a general manager or the owner of your own company. Mm-hmm. Nolan, he's the CEO of his own company, and I'm the CEO of my own company, and I take care of my employability. And I can focus on two things. I can focus on the things that I cannot control, and that's the economy. Yeah, but we want to say to you something. The economy has always been bad. You can ask your parents. The economy has always been bad, and there were always not so much opportunities for the young people. Yeah. And it goes like 2,000 years in the back. It's always been the same.
And I've known times in America when the unemployment rate was so low that it seemed like anybody could get a job, and I still knew people who couldn't find jobs because their attitude towards what they were looking for was so bad.
And the second thing is what you can control. You have to focus what you can control. There's one truth. And it's, you don't have a right on a job. You do have a right to add value to somebody else's. If you have knowledge and skills and then attitudes that can add value to somebody else's business, then trust me, you will not be unemployed. If you think there's something wrong with that reasoning, then I would actually encourage you to start your own company. Start your own company, go to the business world, and then add value to other businesses. Do you have knowledge and skills to do that?
Well, and I think it's important to remember that you can add value. If you have talents, you have experiences in life, there are things that you have to offer, but you need to learn to put them together. You need to learn to adjust your own attitude, to adjust your own way of relating to other people, to grow as a person. If you grow as a person, you will be able to make a real contribution, not only to work, but you will make a contribution to your society, to your whole country, by being a positive person, by being someone who looks to add instead of just kind of filling a spot.
A couple of things you can do while still hunting for a job. Every day you can expand your knowledge and you can expand your skills. Why do you want to do that? Because you want to add new skills, right, to your, how would you say it in English?
Well, even you would say just to your resume, to your life experience. It's very interesting. Sometimes you end up finding a job because you wrote down something that caught the eye of an employer, and maybe it was nothing about formal employment, but it's a skill or an interest that you have that's on the side that sometimes catches people's eyes.
Thank you for saving me. You have to understand one thing. Nobody is going to give you a job because you need it. People are going to give you a job because you can add value to their business. And inside of that value, there will be a part of costs that will cover your pay. The rest of it will go to the business owner. It doesn't matter it's a private person or is it the state owned.
Right. And I think that's one of the first questions that's often asked in a job interview. It's a question I think comes from the West, and people will say in a job interview, "Why do you want this job?" And it's amazing to hear from employers in Croatia how often the response they hear from someone they're interviewing is, "Well, I really want a job. Why do you want this job? Because I need work." And that is not the kind of thing that reflects I want to add value. I really see myself being able to make a contribution here. It's just, who doesn't want a job is basically the answer, as if it's a dumb question. It is a dumb question, but it's a dumb question that opens the door for you to say something a little bit more substantial.
Well, there's a very fine difference between do you want this job or do you want this work.
Yeah.
Because basically if you want to work, then you know what you want to do with yourself. You know how you want to add value, where you want to make money or save money. And you have some sort of career in front of you.
That's a good point. I think, people very, very easily get paralyzed. We'll talk about a lot of different things in this video series, but it's easy to get into a kind of helpless state where maybe every day you get up and you go ahead and you push the button another 20 times to send your resume out on Croatian job job search websites to another 20 companies. You're still in your underwear. You got up at 11:30 in the morning because you're already tired and you're just sort of depressed by the whole process. This is a very easy kind of pattern to get into, and attitude has a lot to do with kind of breaking out from we would say like a rut in English, the channels that get dug into, like where tractors drive, where you can't drive your tractor out of it because it's gotten so far down. Those are ruts, and we get into ruts in life very, very easily, and it's by attitude and then taking specific steps that we can get out of those ruts. There are jobs out there. There are opportunities out there. I know it's not easy. I have great respect for anybody who is willing to keep going, to learn and to change in this environment. But having that attitude that you're going to keep going, that you're going to do everything you can to get around the obstacles can make such a huge difference.
Just for the end, I once heard that definition that attitudes come from our expectations about the outcomes.
Yeah.
If we think that the result will be positive, then, and we expect it, then we have a positive attitude. If we think that it will be negative, then we have a negative attitude. Like, to put some conclusion here, for number one, you have to take 100% responsibility for your career. Nobody's going to do that for you. Not your parents, not your university, not your state.
Yeah, and I'd also close just by saying this. I know I've known a lot of young people in Croatia, kind of been with them or watched them through their 20s when they had no work, in their early 20s, into finding their first job and finding their second or third job. And the same people today who are elite, who have great careers, who you see driving around in very nice cars with very nice suits on, many of them, when they were 22, 23 years old, were terrified to find their first job. Were very, very intimidated by the process. And it's funny for me sometimes to talk to friends who really struggled to get out there to look for work, who then 5 years later in their career are like switching jobs every 6 months and kind of constantly on the lookout for something new. And it has a huge amount to do with their confidence and their expectation that they're valuable. I know that I create value. I know I add value now. I'm not afraid. I'm going to feel free to take risks in my career. And that's a huge shift. And it just happens because you finally are able to see yourself as a person of value.